The Prospector tab of the Toolspace contains a list of all the dynamic objects that are currently in your Civil 3D drawing. You can see that this includes collections of points, point groups, point clouds, surfaces, alignments, feature lines, sites, catchments, pipe networks, pressure networks, corridors, assemblies, intersections, survey data, and view frame groups. Any of these collections can be expanded to show all the objects contained within them. For example, under surfaces, you can see that there are two surfaces, EG and First Street. Right-click the surface named EG, and you see a number of commands which include the surface properties, options to edit the surface style, options to rebuild the surface, and so on. You can also right-click the surface collection title itself, and here you have commands to create a new surface, create a surface from the DEM, create a surface from a TIN file, and you have options to export to a DEM or export to LandXML. So many of your primary Civil 3D commands can be found just by right-clicking within the Prospector. For instance, you right-click points and you see the option to create points or transfer points. Now expand alignments and you can see several different alignment types. Expand Centerline Alignments and the alignment First Street. And now you can see profiles, profile views, Superelevation Views, and cross-section sample line groups, all nested under the main alignment object. When you expand sites, you can see that there are options for alignments, feature lines, grading groups, and parcels. Items within separate sites cannot see each other. What does that mean? Well, if you place a grading group in one site, and then create another site and place another grading group in that new site, when you move the two grading groups on top of one another in the model or against each other, they will ignore each other unless they're in the same site. To see this in action, you can do this with some of the grading groups in this example drawing. Try moving the grading group Pond 1 in the pond site towards the parking lot in the parking site. You can see that you can overlap the two grading groups, but nothing happens. To move a grading group, simply start the Move command in Civil 3D, and then select the green diamond and move it so that it runs into and goes a little beyond the parking lot grading. Did anything change? No. That is because they are in two different sites. So sites can separate which objects are recognized when they are in proximity to other objects, depending on which site they are currently stored in. To see a closer look at what happens when objects are in the same site, move the building pad in the parking site towards the parking lot. Again, using the Move command, select the green diamond of the building pad and move it onto the parking lot. The parking lot changes as the building pad is moved over the parking lot grading group. So you can see the interaction that takes place when objects share the same site versus when they do not. In addition to finding the commands for different objects within the Prospector, you can use the Prospector preview area located at the bottom of the Prospector. It is currently blank, but when you select one of the object types, such as surfaces, you can see it lists all of the surfaces in a table in this preview area. You can right-click the surfaces here and get the same surface commands you find when you right-click them up above in the Prospector itself. The Prospector preview area is also editable, so you can change the surface style directly from here. Right-click the EG surface name. Now you can see several other commands, including Zoom to. Zoom to is exactly what it sounds like. It will zoom the view out to the extents of the object. You will see the same navigation commands when you right-click other Civil 3D objects as well. Right-click the First Street alignment and zoom to the extents of that alignment. You can also right-click the EG surface and either lock or unlock the surface. When the surface is locked, you will see the locked icon beside it. This prevents you from inadvertently editing or making changes to the surface. Other objects that can be locked include point groups and points. So you can see how you can find many of your Civil 3D commands just by right-clicking the different objects within the Prospector. Finally, you can create folders under the collections to better organize your objects. Simply right-click and select Create Folder. Once the folder is named, drag the objects you need into the new folder. As you can see, the Prospector is the most important location to be familiar with in the Toolspace, as it stores all of your dynamic object data for Civil 3D. One note here regarding the newer versions of Civil 3D is that the Prospector data can be shared between other newer versions of Civil 3D. This means that you can open a 2014 Civil 3D drawing in a new version of Civil 3D and continue working from where you left off. You can also go backwards, opening a newer version drawing in 2014. But realize that this is not the case for 2013 and older Civil 3D programs. You cannot open the newer version file in 2013 and older. If you run into this situation, you will need to export your Prospector data to a LandXML file and send it along with your e-transmitted file to your prospective user who is running the older version so that they can change styles or use the data you created.